Welcome everyone, I'm Janice Clines, Marketing Manager with AOE. Today we're covering our next digital university topic, AI chatbox technology. I'm here with Vikki Sicaras, AOE Account Manager, and AOE clients Brian Gallagher, Vice President of Corporate Development at Graycor, and John Glumb, Senior Managing Director of Operations at American Concrete Institute. We're here to discuss chatbot technology, specifically ChatGPT, and how they're using it. By now, you've likely heard some buzz about ChatGPT, the chat box powered by artificial intelligence, also known as AI. Using short prompts and questions, you can have a conversation with it and ask it to provide information on nearly any topic, as well as write essays, mimic famous authors, and much more. I'm turning this over to my colleague, Vikki, to tell us a little bit more about the technology.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Whether the idea of a content creating bot excites you, terrifies you, or confuses you, there is no denying that this technology is making its way into all industries. ChatGPT is a large language model developed by OpenAI, a leading artificial intelligence research organization. While AI-generated content isn't new, the development of ChatGPT has enabled it to take off in a big way. Its ability to create meaningful, coherent, human-like copy was unmatched by previous chatbot technology. Since its launch in November 2022, the chatbot has become the fastest growing app in history with over 100 million users. Microsoft invested $10 billion into the company in January 2023. During a session with the free version of ChatGPT, I asked it to describe what it does, and here is the response. I have been trained on a vast corpus of text data and use natural language processing algorithms to understand and generate human-like responses to a wide range of questions and prompts. As an AI language model, my aim is to assist and provide information to users in a conversational and intuitive way, helping to enhance their productivity and knowledge. Other emerging chatbots include Google's Bard and Microsoft's Bing Chat Mode, and last I checked, to access them, users currently have to sign up for their waiting lists.
All right, thank you, Vikki. Graycor's Brian Gallagher has recently written blogs on AI and chatbots for architecture, engineering, and construction marketing. Brian, can you tell us a bit more about how GPT has developed?
Sure. ChatGPT is part of the generative pre-trained transformer series of language models that's really been developed to understand and generate natural language. The technology was developed using deep language techniques and is based on a neural network architecture that is generally known as transformer. The model was trained on a large corpus of text, including books, articles, web content, initially using unsupervised learning techniques. The development of ChatGPT and other GPT models has really been made possible by the availability of large amounts of text data and the rapid advancement of hardware and software technology in recent years. And this has really enabled researchers to train models with billions of parameters that allow them to generate natural language responses to a wide range of prompts with relatively high accuracy. But in simpler terms, it's essentially a computer program that can understand and generate human-like text. It can also help automate tasks, create content, answer questions, and assist in various other activities that involve natural language processing. So ChatGPT was trained using a technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback. And what that means is, as the technology was developed, humans actually provided responses to what the technology was producing. And essentially, that's really what ChatGPT's secret sauce is. And the basic idea is to take a large language model with a tendency to return a lot of different content and then fine-tune it by teaching the types of responses that humans actually prefer.
Okay, well, thank you. First, I'd like to focus on leveraging ChatGPT for content creation and other marketing activities. Brian, what are its capabilities in that context?
Sure. So I've been following ChatGPT since it first came out last fall of 2022, and I really started using it just a few months ago. And I really see one of the key advantages to ChatGPT is its ability to learn from large amounts of information and data and generate natural language responses that are very similar to human language. And while ChatGPT is not perfect, it can produce relevant content in a relatively fast manner. And this has a wide range of important implications for marketers. And this includes content generation, search engine optimization, and even tools for client engagement. And when it comes to the architecture, engineering, and construction industries, these marketers are starting to use ChatGPT to generate content ideas and topics, headlines, call to action, and even outlines and content for articles. It can also be used for content review, editing, and even proofreading. Some other applications for search engine optimization, we're starting to use ChatGPT to help generate keywords, tags, titles, and headlines and headings, really to help enhance the search engine result rankings. And then for social media, ChatGPT can be used for writing social media posts and captions, and also be an efficient way to help generate content for landing pages and website pages. And customer engagement is being enhanced with ChatGPT for customer service, for creating surveys, questions, and feedback forms. Another area we're seeing an increase in use is for proposal support. Folks that are charged with generating and producing and reviewing proposals can use the tool to help generate ideas for headlines, subheads, maybe summarizing biographies, content sections, creating bullet point lists, and also simplifying technical descriptions. So if you look at ChatGPT, another key area that marketers are using it as a way to keep tabs on clients and also competitors by generating information that includes strengths and weaknesses, market share, capabilities, news, other information, and even engaging customer and client sentiment. And while ChatGPT is an effective tool for marketers, it's really just its infancy stages, and we really need to look at the tool, proceed with caution, and know that we really need to continue to look at the content. We're going to need to revise it and edit it, and continue to experiment with things like prompts and making sure that we are getting the desired information and results.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Vikki, the AOE team also has been testing and writing about ChatGPT. What are the limitations of using this tool?
So we were exploring the free version of ChatGPT for content creation, and we have very recently began using ChatGPT 4, which requires a paid subscription and is more advanced than the free version. We're still exploring GPT-4 capabilities, which are supposed to have improved accuracy, but still cannot access real-time information. What we found so far is while AI chatbots may have the ability to create great content, it is doubtful that there will ever come a time when that information can go unchecked by human eyes, at least not anytime soon. AI may have, it might be able to give us a low-cost, fast option for churning out content, but it isn't a match for humanity. Things like thought leadership, humor, and style just aren't quite there. These AI tools can compile information from all the little corners of the internet that already exist and regurgitate that information in a new way, but it can't come up with new ideas. So it knows the materials it has been given, but does not consistently provide sources or attribution, which are critical elements for research documents. And in fact, information gathered by ChatGPT also may not necessarily be factual. According to ChatGPT websites, according to the ChatGPT website's FAQ section, the tool has limited knowledge of world events after September 2021 and may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. It also warns that the tool will occasionally hallucinate and provide answers unrelated to the questions it was asked. So that goes again with being careful about the prompts you use. So in its current state, which admittedly is still evolving and doing so at a fast pace, it seems, AI generated content is a good tool for first drafts, but it is in an organization's best interest to have a human overseeing content to ensure it is accurate, credible, and engaging for readers. In fact, I went straight to the source and asked ChatGPT if it can be used to write blog articles. And here are a few warnings it provided. One, while ChatGPT can generate text that appears to be well written and coherent, it is important to remember that it is still an AI language model and may not always produce content that is accurate, appropriate, or nuanced enough for a high quality blog article. Two, relying too heavily on an AI to write blog articles may ultimately limit the creativity and originality of the content. And three, ChatGPT may generate text that is too similar to existing content, which can be problematic for SEO purposes and may also raise copyright concerns.
Okay, thank you, Vikki. Perhaps ChatGPT is better leveraged in other areas. ACI's Senior Managing Director of Operations, John Glumb, is here to tell us how he has been testing the chat box.
Hi, Janice. Thanks. Yeah, we've been working on it for a few weeks now and just kind of looking at what we could get out of it. Prior to that, we've been looking at systems which were more traditional kind of chatbot systems for customer service type applications, and we've never found one that we really wanted to start using. They require a lot of training, a lot of development work to put the dialogue in there the way you want it to come out. What we're hoping is systems like ChatGPT can do it without all of that extensive training, that they can form the answers based on the content that we feed it. Now, the concern there is, how do we keep it focused on just our content? Because we don't, it's nice that it has all the information, of the universe out there, but we really don't want it to answer questions about things that are outside of the information that we control. So we want to try to get an AI that will focus just on the information that we want it to look at. It was kind of interesting. We did a test. We asked it how to register to function as a customer service rep, and asked it how to register for our convention. And it came back with a pretty good answer. It sounded really good until it got to the very end, and it said, for more information, email at us at an email address or call us at and this phone number. And I have no idea where that email address or that phone number came from, because it certainly wasn't any of our email addresses or phone numbers. So it just went out to the internet and picked a couple things and stuck them in there because that was the right thing to do in terms of the context of the writing. But it did help us find, looking at our website, that we didn't have that particular information in the convention registration page of the website. So it did help us find a little flaw in maybe our customer service application on the website itself, because it did that. So we actually went back and backtracked and fixed that. So that worked kind of well for us.
Okay. So what pros and cons have you discovered?
Well, I think it writes very well. So you have to become less of an editor and more of a fact checker. And I think we've said that all along. So the idea of someone being a master in that subject, a subject matter expert, is going to become increasingly important if you're going to rely on things like ChatGPT to do the work. And I also think it's very important that you phrase the question correctly, because the answer is based a lot on input that you put in. There are whole websites now that are devoted to ChatGPT prompts. If you go out and look, and people have gone out and actually tried them out and refined them, and they've come up with interesting prompts that you can feed ChatGPT to do different things for you. So if you Google that term, ChatGPT prompts, you'll probably find a lot of those out there, and they're quite interesting to look at, and you can kind of think about how you could craft them into things that you could use. But again, it's really an experimental product at this point. So, you know, it's hard to trust it with your most trusted information.
Got you. And Brian, how about you? What pros and cons have you discovered?
Well, clearly picking up on John's comment, it is in beta phase. I mean, when you do sign up for the site, there is a disclaimer that this is in a research phase. So it's very, very early in its process. The most recent iteration or release is ChatGPT 4.0 that Vikki referred to earlier. That is the paid version that currently is $20 a month. That was just released a couple of weeks ago and does represent a significant upgrade over the previous 3.5 version. One of the things John mentioned is the prompts, and the prompts are very important. The use of prompts, I've been trying different prompts, and I've been looking at the types of results that I've been getting to really refine essentially the types of questions I'm asking and what I'm looking for. This, I believe, in the marketing circles will be an area of significant growth, where you're using prompts to more effectively get the information that you're looking for. And if you were to go and look at job boards like Indeed and others, you'll see companies are actually hiring for chat prompt engineers. There are actually positions that people are looking for developing prompts. So certainly this is very much in the early phases. Key things that I think where we are seeing small steps just in the release from 3.5 to 4.0. One is availability. If you're in the free version, sometimes it's difficult to even get into Chat GPT just because it'll say the system is overloaded, come back again. And you're also limited in terms of number of responses you can get in a different time. But with the 4.0 version, you're able to access the tool. I have not had any issues accessing the tool when I've wanted to access it on the 4.0 version. I've noticed what I've been doing too is I've been running the same queries on 3.5 and 4.0 to see the differences in results. And one of the things I have noticed is there's significant improvement in the results that I'm getting. What I'm finding in 4.0, the results are more human-like responses. It feels more like I'm having a conversation with a person. While it's not perfect, the fact that they've been able to improve that as quickly as they did gives me hope that this is going to continue. This is an iterative process, and it's going to continue to improve over time. And one of the other areas I've seen too is when you're doing your prompts and you're getting some content back, say it for a blog post or an article, I typically will do follow-up prompts and dig a little bit deeper, asking some more specific responses based on what text was generated. And what I found with GPT 4.0 is that it seems to be able to maintain context over the course of a longer conversation. Whereas if I was doing that in a previous version and I'm asking some follow-up questions, I would get responses that weren't necessarily related to my initial query or my initial prompt. One of Vikki's points too about the ChatGPT 3.0 and 3.5 was that the data set was limited going back to the end of 2021. Well, that's improved. The 4.0 is more real time, which is important, particularly if you're doing market research or analysis on trends or a competitive analysis. You're trying to find information. It is based on real-time information and data. So I think there's some improvements there in terms of the fine-tuning of the searches and results. And of course, one of the bigger issues that John touched on and Vikki touched on was really the lack of some rules and copyrights and some of the ethical side and even some of the safety side. So OpenAI and the team there are very focused on that's a big issue. They have teams that are dedicated just to that, and I believe in each subsequent revisions coming out, we're going to be seeing an improvement in the ethics and the safety side of things. So I look at this really as a early beta version that we're testing, we're experimenting with, starting to use in some areas. But it's, in my opinion, it's always going to require that human eye, that human interaction to get the type of content and results that we can use in our businesses and organizations.
All right. Well, thank you, John and Brian. Can either one of you or Vikki provide any final thoughts on ChatGPT and how we should or should not be using it?
Well, I guess I'll comment. I would say, again, it's experimental. Don't necessarily rely on it for your bread and butter data. And also, you need to, if you're really looking for a solution, you really need to look at all the systems that are out there. There's a lot of vendors emerging with some more specialized types of AI solutions, some of which are based on the ChatGPT model, but they may have more specialized applications that might be better for you and what you're trying to accomplish. So you really have to take a look around and see what's available, because ChatGPT really isn't the end all of generative AI systems.
I'll add a couple comments. The use of artificial technology tools are not new. Artificial intelligence really dates back to the 1950s. It's just that in recent years and even recent months, the adoption and use has significantly accelerated. And even though it has its roots in technology that's been around for decades, we have to remember that we still are in the very early stages of AI for the masses. And again, as I said earlier, this is an iterative process where we're going to be deploying things, we're going to be getting feedback and refining how we're using and how we're training the tools. And personally, in my career, I think about significant milestones in terms of how technology has had a significant impact on how we change what we do as business leaders and marketers. And some of those have been very disruptive and transformational technologies. And I think having an attitude and a mindset of embracing change and being willing to embrace change is critical. And for me, some of those examples was back in the mid-90s, really with the advent of the web, the development of web browsers, web browsing technology, some of the early search engine technologies like Lycos and others that were improved upon by folks like Yahoo and eventually Google and other solutions. And now some of those tools and technologies are at the basis of what we do every day and how we run and operate and lead our businesses and organizations. And I also think about the development of the iPhone and essentially smartphone technology, and how the development of that technology became an enabler for apps, and how the apps have really been at the root of the development of whole new industries, whole new technologies, things like ride sharing and how you interact and communicate with people. So I look at advances in technology like that that over time have improved the efficiency and effectiveness of businesses and organizations. And to John's point, ChatGPT is just one of thousands of AI tools that are available, and there will be thousands more that come out. And we're starting to see the AI technologies being more integrated in some of the existing tools that we're using every day. Microsoft Office is coming out with some advanced AI tools. They've launched a program called Microsoft Copilot, where you'll be able to use some AI technologies, and where you might create content in Word, you can very easily use that technology to create a PowerPoint presentation almost effortlessly. For those that are in the marketing space, Adobe Creative Suite, all the Adobe tools. Adobe is rolling out some AI tools to improve what they're doing. And if you look at the existing tools that we're using and the improvements and advances that we're seeing, I believe this is another one of those moments in my career where I'm going to see AI being a disruptive and transformational technology. And for everybody on the call today, I just encourage everyone to Get engaged, try things out, realize this is not the end product, but we're gonna experience it, we're gonna learn from it, we're gonna develop it, find ways to embrace it, learn from it, apply it to your business, and also interact with peers and others that are using it in your space and outside of your space, and continue to learn about how this technology can be something that we look at as a way that may not replace jobs, but we'll look at how we improve some of the things that we're doing.
Thank you. How about you, Vikki? Do you have any final thoughts for us?
I just encourage everybody to try AI chatbots for themselves. You can ask questions or prompt the chatbot to write something for you. But I'll temper that with, for vetted content created by a team of experts, contact AOE instead.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, John. Thank you, Vikki. Thank you, everyone that's watching this today. Contact AOE, aoeteam.com for any of your marketing needs. Thank you.